Hi, Jess here from Nigezza.co.uk. Today I'm going to bring you a Christmas project, and I'm going to use the Perfectly Plaid stamp set, the matching Christmas tree punch, and these gorgeous papers. I have been working with some retired paper to give me some ideas and make some prototypes. So we had this Plaid a couple of years ago now, I think it is. So out of a 6x6 sheet, I got these two cards and I made a couple of tags as well. So that's what we're going to do today, but we're doing it in oh no, it's not that one. That was what was left over from the other one. We're doing it in a different piece of Plaid, which I've cut up ready to make these two cards. And I'm going for the one with the cherry cobbler and some whisper white and the shady spruce. So I've got all my bits. These are the bits after I've cut it all up that I've got from the 6x6 sheet. So sort of making each 6x6 sheet go a long way. Okay, so we'll concentrate on this card first, which is this one. So I've got extra thick whisper white here, so standard piece of cardstock, cut in half, scored in half, and then my usual mat that I do for the card, and then my second mat in the DSP. I will put all the measurements over on my blog, nigezza.co.uk, and I have started putting the metric as well as the imperial on there. And of course, if you're working with American size cardstock, then you need to adjust it for your dimensions. I'm going to move those little bits out of the way. So I'm going to do it slightly different on here. I'm going to use my stitched rectangles. As I did on this one, I decided to do that one the same. I kind of made that one first, then I made the other one. So I'm using, because I count from the outside, 1, 2, number 3, number 4 and number 5. And then for the sentiment on the other card, I'm using the third one down on that side. But we're using the smaller two to cut this frame here. So I have got some scraps of whisper white, so I'm going to cut the rectangle out of this one for this bit, and then I'm going to get a piece of cherry cobbler, which I haven't got out ready, to cut the frame. So I've got a bit of cherry cobbler there, which I will cut the outside and the inside of, so I actually get a separate frame as opposed to one matting on top of the other. Okay, I'm not cutting it out of the centre of this because I'm putting paper on top. You might see a ridge, so I didn't want that, so I'm going to keep that one intact. So I'll get this cut out and come back to you. So we've got these cut out. Got the frame cut there. You could, of course, do the same on the background if you wanted. Save that for something else. Move those to the side. And then, of course, we need our Christmas trees. So this strip here that we've got cut out or cut off, we're gonna cut out 4 Christmas trees. So I did them like that so that I got the most out of the paper. I'm not sure. Could I get 5? I actually managed 5. How fab. So not a lot of wastage there. So that's going to go on the front, and we'll use these others on the tags and the other Christmas card. So we need to stamp on here before we start sticking together. So I've got my Merry Christmas mounted, I've got my cherry cobbler ready, and that will just be stamped right at the bottom there. I was just checking that I hadn't cut it too small, because I have gone slightly smaller. I'm going to line that straight up on my grid mat and stamp it down, stamp it up. There we go. Put that on my chamois, and then got room there for our Christmas tree. So you will notice on this that I put some silver thread behind it. I do have some thread in cherry cob that was in the catalogue some time ago, but because I've chosen to do this in a separate frame, I can't like pop it up, so I'm not going to. So I'm going to glue all this together, but I'll speed it up whilst I do it. So that's those layers stuck down. Now when I've got a frame like this, I like to stick the middle bit down and then stick the outside around it. I just find that that is a bit easier than doing it the other way around, because you can sort of bend these slightly while you're doing it. So I've got lines on the plaid to help me get it in place. I'm going slightly to the top, so I think I'm going to go to the top of that line there. Stick that down, and then just going to put a small bead around my frame. And then we can stick that down like so, and then I think I might put a few dimensionals on the Christmas tree to pop it up. Put 3 on, probably 2 would do. It is only DSP. So there we go, that's the first one done. Compare it to that one. You can see the difference between having a stitched frame there. Quite like that. So that's that one. Now we'll move on to the next one. So for this I've chosen a cherry cobbler C6 card base. Got some whisper white there to go in the centre. I've cut my mat in shaded spruce, and then a second mat there in whisper white. And because it's going to have cardstock over the top, I am going to cut the frame that I want to go on the top out of this cardstock to save on a bit of cardstock. So I'm doing this one out of the bigger one. So I'll be cutting that out of that one out of that one, and then cutting that again out of this one. So I'm going to get those all cut out and come back. So I've got all my layers cut out now, and we've got that spare one. So I've got 2 spare things out of that, which I could layer up and use for another card. So we're going to stick that layer down there, this one on top, and then we're going to stick these on top like so. So I'm going to stick those all together, speeded in time lapse, so you're not bored. So that's them all layered up, lovely. And so now we need to do the stamping of the greeting. So I'm using the North Pole delivery for this. I've got a little scrap of Whisper White there, and I'm going to stamp it in Shaded Spruce, this one. And then I'll be cutting it out with that stitched framelit there, which does fit really well. There we go. Stick that on my chamois. So I'm going to, as you can see, this fits over just perfectly. It was like it was made for it, which I'm sure it was when they designed it. Okay, I'll get that cut out. So that's it cut out, and that's going to go across there. We've got a Christmas tree already cut out, and what I decided to do was use the little strip that was cut out, that was left when we cut the mat, and I thought I would just lay that behind the greeting and put that on like so. So I'm popping these 2 up on dimensionals. So I'm just going to glue this down. Could have used snail for this actually. And because it was cut off the card mat, it's actually exactly the same size as this Whisper White one. So we'll get our dimensionals and stick these on, and on the back of my tree here. So there's not as much Plaid on, or Plaid, I prefer tartan on this card as the other, but I think there's enough of an accent, so give it a bit of a pop. So stick that down, centre it on there like so. I do like that sentiment, North Pole deliveries, particularly if you're going to give cards to children, like it's actually from Santa, and then put that in the centre there. So that's that card finished. So 2 cards, and now we've got 3 Christmas trees left, and I thought it'd be nice to make some Christmas tags. So I've cut, these are 2 inches by 3.5, and we're going to use the tag topper punch, really quick with cards. This is why, if you remember, Festival of Trees was the first set I ever bought from Stampin' Up. The reason why I like them is because punch out a tree and you've got really quick Christmas cards, and that's what I had to do on Christmas Eve night last Christmas when my youngest went, "I need some Christmas tags, Mum." So I just quickly whipped him up a dozen tags before I went to bed, doing this and the old Christmas tree punch and stamp set that we had. But now we've got a new one, which is great. And then I'm just gonna stick them on. You can just stick them down, or you can raise them up. I'm just going to stick them down because here's a tag. So I'm just going to use some snail for it. You could put a sentiment at the bottom, Merry Christmas. Which I will probably add when I get the new host stamp set, because at the moment I don't have a small Merry Christmas sentiment, but the new host stamp set's got loads and loads, which is why I'm going to be getting that, because all the Christmas sets that I bought last year retired, and I was left with none. Now let me just show you. So the set I'm talking about is this one, Greatest Part of Christmas, and you get that is only for hosts. So if you place an order of £150, then you get, or more, then you get 10% of that to spend on anything that you want, and so you can spend £12 of it on this set, and then you'd still have £3 to spend on something else. You could get some glue or something. You have to add a little bit to it if you only spent 150, but that's got all the sentiments you could possibly need at Christmas. Loads of lovely ones for the inside, and then of course you can mask off some of these bits to use. So I like this set, so I want that. That one's quite cute as well. So I'll be getting that, I will. So, but I haven't got that right now, but what I have got in this set is you've got a ho ho ho, which will fit on the bottom of these tags. So I'm going to take shaded spruce, could have done it in cherry cobbler, and I'm just going to do ho 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 at the bottom. It's not very straight, that. That's a bit better. And then of course we have stamps with to and from that you could use if you wanted to. So that's the tags, and then we just need a little bit of ribbon. Now there is some gorgeous ribbon that you could use. It's not, didn't really get this ready very well, did I? It's in the Night Before Christmas suite. We have this cherry cobbler diagonal stripe ribbon. Now I don't have that, but what I do have is a retired cherry cobbler chevron ribbon, and I've cut it down the centre to give me something very, very similar, just to show you what it would look like with this ribbon, which I think would look very lovely. Because I'm doing this with just what I got from my pre-order. See, cutting it down the middle doesn't work very well because look, it's all fraying, but this is just to show you what the tag could look like if you had the other ribbon. Like so, and I've also got some don't know where the other bit of the ribbon, I did cut two, so obviously I cut it down the middle, and I've got some retired shaded spruce from last Christmas as well, which also looks lovely. Like so. So that's it. Well, it's not, because I've got to put some ribbon on the other one, but I'm trying to find the ribbon that I've lost. So there you can see the difference you get depending on which way you thread your ribbon through. So there we got 3 Christmas tags and 2 Christmas cards out of one 6x6 sheet. That's not bad, is it? And I think they're lovely. Hope you like them too. All the details will be over on my blog, and there should be a link coming up there that'll take you directly to the blog. Please like and subscribe if you like what I do. Go and explore some more if you still need to make your mind up, and there'll be shop links to everything over on nigezza.co.uk. See you again soon.